Okay, so for parts of a cell, I thought I'd just go through the video and narrate it how she narrated it in class. Okay, so what we just saw before, these are the red blood cells and these are the white blood cells that are just moving through the bloodstream. This is a white blood cell interacting with another cell, and these are the um, little thingies that are going out to so they can communicate with each other. Okay, so now this is the inside of the phospholipid membrane. The blue stuff are the heads because remember the heads are on the outsides, and all the stuff that you see here are the transport proteins and other proteins that are inside the membrane. And just going over the function of the cell membrane is selectively permeable. It determines what goes in and out of a cell. The transport proteins help stuff that can't go in and out of the cell membrane go through. This is the cytoskeleton. It's basically the bones of the cell. It helps a lot with the structure. And if a cell needs to move someplace, the cytoskeleton will break down and form in that direction so it helps it move. Cytoskeleton is made out of actin, that's a protein. Here you see a cytoskeleton being formed out of actin again. And here is a protein, an enzyme that helps break the cytoskeleton apart. This is a microtubule. Microtubules are made out of tubulin. Good way to remember that. Microtubule, tubulin, tube. These are the highways of the cell. This is what everything moves on, and you'll see how stuff moves on it in just 1 second. Here is it being taken apart. And this is how stuff moves on the microtubules. It moves on these motor proteins, which I think look like a penis, but that's how I remember them. Motor proteins, they stick to the microtubules and they stick to whatever they're moving, and they just crawl along on the tube, moving it to wherever it needs to go. And here you see a better view of it. So here you see the nucleus. The nucleus is right there, and we'll zoom on it in a second. Okay, so this is the surface of the nucleus, and these little holes right here are the pores. Messenger RNA, which codes the DNA that's inside the nucleus, is going to come out of the pores. Here we see the mRNA coming out. The mRNA is going to travel to the ribosomes, which are these little green things. Okay, so here is a close-up. We see the mRNA. The ribosomes are going to be here. The mRNA is going to go through, and the ribosomes are going to make the proteins being formed here. So the job of the ribosomes is to make proteins. This is the endoplasmic reticulum, and we'll zoom in on it in just 1 second. The ER is where the ribosomes go um, to and stick onto, and that's where proteins are made. They can either be put on the cytoplasm, but most of them are made on the ER. They're made on the ER if they need to be transported out of the cell. Remember that. And this is the rough ER. On smooth ER, lipids are made and detoxification happens. On the rough ER, proteins are made. These are vesicles, so basically like little bubbles for stuff to move in, and the proteins are gonna go into the vesicles. The motor protein is gonna take the vesicle where it needs to go. This is the Golgi body. The vesicles are gonna go to the Golgi body, and the Golgi body is gonna tell it where to go. It's the shipping and packaging center of the cell. Here, okay, so the vesicle is gonna go through exocytes. The vesicle is gonna go outside, gonna go to the cell membrane, become part of the cell membrane, and then all the stuff that's inside the vesicle is gonna pop and it's gonna go out of the cell. See, you see all the proteins going outside of the cell, right? And then these are some special types of proteins that are inside the cell that attach to the cell membrane. These are transduction proteins. They're basically the brakes of the cell. If the cell's moving, these attach to something and stop the cell. Here you see the transduction proteins breaking onto something, and the cell is going to stop now because of the transduction protein. And the white blood cell that was going through the membrane is going to get out through the blood vessel, and you just saw a white blood cell.